Let's see if this shit works. Yes, and we're live. So, welcome to the First Division podcast. This is a first podcast we've had in such a long time because of different scheduling, different time zones. But, Drew, what the fuck is going on, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good, good. So, what's up, man? What's going on?
Not much. Just
Uh,
I guess taking care of life.
Yeah, it's been like fucking forever since we did one of these things.
It has been a while.
Yeah, well, I remember that we tried to set one of these things up and it was all fucked up, man. Like different programs didn't work, time differences. We were getting mad at each other because we weren't able to communicate properly. Oh man, and it feels so good that finally I found a platform that we're able to kind of talk and that it streams live to YouTube and I don't have to use any different programs, man.
I agree.
Uh, so we were kind of like talking offline about like what to do on podcasts, right? Do it. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man. Don't worry. It's great. So, and we were talking a little bit offline before we went live. Mm, we were talking about, I think we were talking about it yesterday or 2 days ago about things getting like more expensive for people, man.
We're talking about rent specifically. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. So, like for example, now like in where I live, I think the rents have gone up like double the price since I've got here. So, so in like 7 years where I live, the rent has got up double, man.
Really?
Yeah, really. And there we're trying to figure out a way how you can afford it with your salary. So what they're trying to figure out, the government's trying to figure out is how the salary could be able to uh, increase with the increase of price of rent, for example. So it's not like uh, your salary stays the same, but rent goes up and you're not able to afford it. That's fucked up.
You mean like America?
Yeah, exactly. Like in the US. I mean, your wages stay stagnant, but everything else increases. And that's kind of for me fucked up.
Did you hear about Trump is going to get impeached? That's crazy.
That's crazy, man. I heard it. Uh, I I look on I look on CNN or I
Uh-huh.
look on like Facebook feeds and things like that, and all it is Trump getting impeached, man.
He's only the third president, I think, and then who's going to take his place? I don't watch that politic bullshit. I don't care about that. But who's going to take his?
Well, do you know what happens when, like, for example, somebody gets impeached? Do you know,
Someone
like,
else stepped up that's right underneath or was in running for it or something?
well, what happens is, like, for example, if Donald Trump gets impeached, the vice president will take over for the presidency for a little while. Now, I don't. What I'm not sure of is if it's going to be for 4 years or just the duration of Trump's presidency.
I'm pretty sure it'd only be the duration of his presidency.
Yeah, I think so too. So it would
That would
be,
only make sense, you know.
yeah, exactly. So it'll be Mike Pence, the vice president at the moment.
But isn't he came up under Trump, didn't he? He got hired because of Trump.
Well, what happens is like, for example, if when you're running for president, you're able to pick your kind of running like mate, they say. So Donald Trump, he just picked Mike Pence as his vice president in 2016, I think it is.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's just the same thing. So what does it matter if Trump gets impeached? It's still going to be his same
Well,
group.
it only matters because what happens is why it matters is that first of all, it's like never been. I mean, it's only like the third time that a president has been even considered to be impeached, and it matters because he uh, when Mike, if for example Donald Trump gets impeached and Mike Pence becomes the president, it matters because we didn't democratically mm, vote for him. He just the power is out of the people's hands. So the Congress decided to impeach him, and Mike Pence becomes the president. And it's we didn't vote for that, basically, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's not democratically done in that way. It's out of the people's hands.
Have you seen the movie The Report?
What is the report?
It's on. I think it's out now. It's a documentary. It talks about how the CIA they were interrogating terrorists before like 9/11 and all that, but
Yeah.
they used to do it the right way, to where the guy, like an FBI agent, he spoke Arabic, and he was getting this guy to tell him stuff they never knew about. These other guys that were supposedly psychologists that have just done studies, never have fucking actually done it on people, came in and said that their way works way better. So they started torturing all these people. They tortured 119 of these fucking supposedly called terrorists, got nothing out of them, nothing new, only tortured them, killed some of them. The
Mhm.
guys got rich off that shit. The CIA had are the ones that hired these guys, and we're still pushing the program. And just like a couple years in 2006, it got shut down. Or no, 2012, Obama shut it down. I think only like 6 years ago. That's fucking insane, dude. And the CIA was covering, and those guys that were running it, they got promoted. None of them got arrested. And the guy that brought out the report and was doing all the work for this committee for this off branch like central intelligence agency, he was the one that put all of it together, because they let him go into the central intelligence agency into this one room and collect. It was like 6 million pages, and he went through it in 5 years, and
Uh-huh.
he pretty much broke it all down and figured it out. And they tried to put him in prison almost for that shit for like 20 years, because he was gonna bring it all out. Dude, it's such a scam, dude. It was crazy.
So basically, he was like a whistleblower trying to figure out like what
Yeah,
was
yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah. It just
Yeah.
shows you, if you like really watch and pay attention, it just shows you how much of a scam like all that stuff is, and like you can't really trust. This is what I've come to believe. You can't trust what they tell you on TV. I don't care what it is or what channel it is or who it is or what they're telling you. You got to take it with a grain of salt, dude, because they're not telling you everything. They're not. There's just no
No.
way. And they're trying to tell you to persuade you one way or the other. It's like, why do we have Democratic and Republican anyways? Everybody should be working together. That's the reason why we're so fucked up, so divided anyways.
Well, when was the like the first or one of the first incidents that you found out that the world doesn't work like, or the world works differently than what people are telling you in the media? What was like the incident for you that changed your perspective on some of these
When I,
issues?
probably when I first started traveling, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But then also doing research and then like putting it together. Like when my mom's telling me, like when I'm in Germany, more so than too, like when I was in Germany, like my mom's telling me, "Oh, be careful, don't go here and there." And it's like, what are you talking about? I'm over here and there's nothing going on. Stop listening to what they're telling you on TV. It's like they're trying to put all. That's why I don't watch that stuff, because it's like they try to put fear in you.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is that when you started traveling, you started to understand that maybe that things aren't adding up to what what the media is telling you and what is actually going on in the world. Or
And not only that, that's hearsay. Like, I'm not like that person. So yeah, I don't fucking sit behind a desk and report news all day. I actually go out there and do shit, or I'm actually out there, or like some of the stuff that I've been through, and probably what you have too by traveling. They probably say you were crazy, but you knew it wasn't. It was just a good time. And you never would have known that if you didn't go on that adventure. You know what I mean? Instead of fucking being afraid all the time and like not not doing anything. That's just what and especially in my parents, it's ingrained. And my mom's always like, "So, what about this? What about that? Or this?" And it's like, dude, why do you even think of that? That should only come about if you come to that. Like, don't not think and don't think ahead. But I'm saying you got to take some risk and some chances. Otherwise, that's what life's all about, man. You're never gonna know what you can really like achieve, really.
yeah, that I agree with that. I mean, like I had a similar kind of experience. I mean, when have you ever gone onto like the Department of Justice website and they tell you like they give you on the I think it's the Department of Justice on the website they tell you all the places in the world that they don't want you to travel to, right? They say like,
What
oh, this is
are they?
th- yeah, this place is dangerous, this other place is dangerous, and then so you read it, and for the average person, that could be like, oh yeah, this place is scary. I don't want to travel to a place like that. That of course, right? You don't want to put yourself in danger, so you're not going to travel to a place that's dangerous. Of course, I understand that. But then you excuse me, then you go to a place, then you find out that it's different from the information that the media is telling you, and you're like, hmm, you scratch your head and you're like, wow, this is a little bit different from my personal experience to the from the experience of these journalists. So is it something that they want to put fear in you and they want you to that these the media wants you to stay put and don't travel, or do they want you to like I don't know, I think it's a fear thing. They want to put so much fear on you that they want you to stay put. They don't want you to travel. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, no, that's one thing that they said, or something about that. I didn't want to say that. That's actually funny you brought that up, but that's something that they said. And so they try to keep you like, that's why they tell you all that stuff on the news and stuff like that, or like in the city and stuff like that, or like the flu virus and get the vaccination and stuff. It's like, dude, if you really put it together and you're a smart fucking person, which 90% of people aren't like, what is it every year, dude? Go get your flu virus. And then what is it? It's a different flu every year. And then it's like, oh, then it was like the swan virus or like whatever. Remember, like at Pudding Stone or whatever, one died off of that, or the mosquito thing. I don't know if you were still here, but you don't remember like the bad mosquito virus that was going around? Supposedly it was at Pudding Stone. It's like, okay, what
no.
happened? I'm just saying, like, what happened to this stuff? It's like something
Well,
new every year, you know? Like, why do they even fucking put that out there?
but you know what happens too in the media a lot. For example, let's say what happens in the media a lot is this. They bring up like there's this remember what it was? I don't know. It's been 8 years ago or so, that H1N1 virus, that flu virus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happened to that,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. It's the same thing as this, what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens in the media is they don't ever finish the story. They they
Or
uh
or
report this
or
they
they
re-
tweak it, or they go off of the like only a couple people died and they blow it out of proportion, but they don't tell the real details of like those people were super sick already or super old or something. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's like they just base it off a general like, oh, this virus is around, it's going to affect everybody and kill everybody, but they don't give the details like, oh, it's killed these younger kids because of this specific reason. These kids were already sick or were not very healthy or were overweight, or they don't give the details, dude. So then it scares everybody that listens to it. So then they get all that shit in their head and then they're tripping out about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then they blow it out of proportion like it's a worldwide epidemic, which
Exactly.
it very well may be, but the problem is that they never finish the story, right? So, well, what I want to know is I want to know the statistics of how many people died from the H1N1 virus, and two, if they found some kind of cure, and three, if it still exists. It's almost like, for me, sensationalist journalism. They blow it out of proportion, make it a big wide epidemic, and then all of a sudden some other thing happens and they forget that. They don't care about that anymore. And then they bring up this other the media brings up this other mm, event and blow that out of proportion. And you completely forget about the first event. I mean,
That's why
this
you
is
get all locked up in that stuff. That's what I've like come to realize, you know.
yeah.
If you choose to accept like what information you bring in, right? Like by what you watch. So if you can have, just like your life, like you have the steering wheel, you can choose to go left or you can choose to go right. So every day, it's like if you have the option, why not choose to watch stuff that you want to watch instead of watch what's put out there and you can only watch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that was kind of like for me, like when you're watching television.
That's
Uh,
why I have mainstream TV. I have that Cody stick and hacked it so then you can watch any movie, documentary, TV show you want, and you can choose what you want to watch if you want to watch TV at that time instead of, and you can pull up live TV, but it's like I don't want to watch general TV of the same shit, commercials, all that shit. I don't have time for all that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, have you ever have you ever bought anything from a commercial? Have you ever watched a commercial and said, "Yeah, like, yeah, I want to go
No,
buy that now."
no, but I always have wanted to, like when I was younger or whatever, but I'm glad I never did.
Yeah, so like you would watch like I don't know, for example, a Lego commercial and be like, "Oh yeah, I want to buy that Lego now."
I might have bought it like if you saw it in one of those weird stores, maybe Spencer's or something, where it says like as seen on TV,
Right.
maybe one time, but I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so. But I've always been intrigued to buy something like that. I don't know why.
Yeah. So you think that commercials have been kind of like effective for you, like it has some kind of effect, like yeah, like so for
It,
example,
it has to be because look, you sit there and like most people probably don't want to get up when they're watching a TV show. Most people don't get up during the break or whatever. They sit through it and you either get complacent or whatever, and you're either listening to it or you're not. You're on your phone or you're eating or you're doing something else. But either way, that shit's still it's still fucking telling you something, and you're still like retaining it, whether you're paying attention or not. And then they show
Mhm.
the same commercial over and over, or they show it the next time you watch it. Like it just gets ingrained somewhat, you know what I'm saying? So then maybe later down the line, it's the same commercial for a car, and then all of a sudden you want to buy a new car, and it's that car. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
just weird like that.
Yeah, so it's like you've had experiences where like yeah, you're like, wow, this commercial really wants makes me want to buy something because I've never had that. I've never like I've watched for
No, I'm
example,
not saying for necessarily me. I'm just
yeah,
saying like when I was younger, yes, but I'm saying no, no, not really. Like not. I always just thought like I always liked like previews for movies and stuff like that, but I never
sure.
like heard about buying stuff for like no, I never thought of it like that way. Maybe it'll give you an idea for something. I always liked the fact that it'd be something new that came out. Maybe it was a different idea or something, but you always want to do your research to see what you're getting into or what it is beforehand.
Yeah, of course. So you've never been like, for example, like, okay, so I've seen like, for example, I think it's kind of effective if you think about it. Like, for example, Gillette, right? You're talking about Gillette razors, for example. They say Gillette, the best the man can get, right? So, you always see like an attractive guy and he's shaving, right? And you know,
Oh no,
and
I know what you're getting at, but no, I don't think like that. No,
yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So
I go, I
you've
go and
never
figure
been
it out.
affected by like that commercial like, "Oh yeah, he's attractive, so if I shave, I'll be attractive." You know what I mean?
Or like he uses that brand, I'm gonna go get that brand. Like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, so for you that's not effective for you
No,
like
I always do my research because I'd rather find the cheaper route if it's cheaper and just as good. You know what I mean? I always look at the reviews or yeah, you always want to look at the reviews or like what people say about the quality or whatever.
yeah, sure. I
That's
mean,
what I go off of. I never went off of that stuff. No.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, for example, remember, I mean,
Cause
I think we were young to buy beer at that point, but I think remember those frogs from Budweiser? Remember that Budweiser
yeah,
or those stupid frogs or whatever?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I if I'm watching that commercial for myself, right? Let's say I was 21 at that point, right? And I could drink beer legally. And I'm looking at that commercial. For me, what turned me off about that commercial was I'm seeing frogs singing about beer, and then what for me it had a negative effect.
Is that Budweiser?
Yeah, Budweiser. So I'm watching this fucking commercial, right? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm associating beer with frogs. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, so I never drank Budweiser because that gave me kind of a negative impact. Or for me, I'm like, I don't want to buy Budweiser because it was like stupid. There's frogs singing, and why would I? What that didn't make me want to buy Budweiser. You
Like, check
know?
this out. Here's a perfect example of both of us how uh we don't dive into that stuff, or maybe yeah, I didn't either. Not at least based off of soccer.
Hmm.
I never got any of the cleats of like Ronaldo, Messi, or any of that. I never got any of that kind of shit or like the best brands. I always just got like I like Puma and stuff like the off brands and stuff. And I never got the best shoe. I just always got what was comfortable for me or what I liked that fit. So it didn't matter really what shoe it was. Maybe it was between a couple of brands only because you knew like that shoe worked for your foot or you liked the way it felt or the way you could kick with it or the feel on the ball, whatever. So we didn't dive into all that stuff. Look at all the other people that always had to have the best shoes and they weren't even that good of a player. Or even if they were a good player, they were all ingrained to that stuff, or they always had like the full sweatsuits, or like
Yeah.
dude, I wore shorts for like 2 years in a row that I had that I kept like clean and stuff. I'm saying and washed, but they look. I didn't need to go buy a brand new or have a full get up to show that I was good. It was what you played on the field, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was interested in where that shift happened. For example, when I was playing soccer, there was people I looked up to. I mean, there were players that were amazing at that time, the best players in the world, of course, right?
Yeah,
But when I went to go buy football boots, it was like I didn't like, for example, Messi, right? Messi's he just won the Ballon d'Or, the Golden Ball, right? He's the best footballer in the world. Okay, fine, I get it. But I never had to buy uh football boots that Lionel Messi had, you
that's
know?
what I'm saying. I didn't dive into that.
Yeah. But I noticed when I was coaching the coaching soccer that there were players that were like, "Oh, I want to buy the Ronaldinho boots. I wanted to buy like the Zinedine Zidane boots. I wanted to buy like the Messi boots and the Ronaldo boots." And I said, "Well, like, where? How did that shift happen? Why did these kids buy into this kind of concept that they wanted to be like these people?" And not have their own individuality. When I bought football boots, I bought it for myself and I wanted to be I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care like about fashion. I didn't care about the pros. I just wanted to be me and play.
Yeah,
It's really interesting when that shift happened.
I don't know, man. To be honest, I think maybe I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some more as the generations change, more like publicity and more like things were available, like as far as like TV and ingraining that stuff in it, because we didn't have so much of that.
No, not really. I mean, I knew about famous footballers, but I didn't know so much about we didn't have
I'm
exposure
saying,
like.
look how much has advanced. I'm just saying,
Yeah, exactly.
and it's available. You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah, so do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing that like the technology kind of advanced and that
It's not
uh,
available to everybody though. You know what I mean? So I guess it doesn't really matter. It's only if you're. I guess it's good for the person that I guess it's available. It just depends, dude. Depends on like that's what I've realized from traveling and playing. From where you come from and what you have and what you're willing to like give. Because like some of these kids come from play like some rich kids make it pro or whatever, but they're not working as hard or they're not the best player in the world. Who are the best players in the world? The guys that had nothing, like Ronaldo, who played in the street, Messi, who played in that club, and he had the that disorder where they had to give him steroids at a certain age, or HGH to get him up to par
yeah,
or whatever. And Barcelona paid for that, and then he's like, that's why he stayed with them for so long. He felt like indebted or whatever. Just stuff like that. Like these guys have gone through things, or like, dude, like people don't aren't like that here in America. You know what I mean?
yeah, to me it sounds like people want to like I don't know. What I learned was like people want to be the best, right? So you want to be, for example, you want to be Messi, you want to be Ronaldo, right? You want to be those people without having to take the steps to become those people. You know what I mean?
I agree
Like,
with that.
yeah, like you want to you like if you're an up and coming player and you say like I want to be Messi, but you don't take the time. Well, you never. First of all, you're never gonna be Messi because that's not your name, right?
Right.
So, and second of all, if you want to be Messi, like skill wise or better than Messi, I mean, the fucking work. It's like people don't realize how hard Messi and Ronaldo have had to have worked to become where they are at this moment in time. Any professional footballer at that moment, at this moment, you have to work fucking hard to get to that level. It's not like it just was given to them. Okay, maybe there's luck, maybe there's different things, but you still have to fucking work hard. And people don't see that, and I think
Yeah.
people just want to be them without having to without it's like going from A to Z, but but by skipping all the letters in between, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
And I think that's kind of like the younger generations that are like coming up through that, you know? It's like I don't know, man. It's fucking crazy.
No, you're right, dude.
Uh,
You are
I don't know.
100.
I see things from like different perspectives, like that you have to kind of look at an issue and kind of take a step back and look at why this issue is even brought up,
What do you think?
about what?
I don't know. Why do you?
About, like, for example, being a professional footballer, or
That's a big of.
yeah, man. I mean, to be a professional footballer, I mean, it takes, to be honest, okay, if you have talent, like for example, for me, I think Messi is naturally talented. Okay, somehow he is just naturally gifted with football. But then there's other players who are not naturally gifted, but they work hard and they train hard and they're professional, right?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people like that, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who are like Messi as well, who are naturally gifted, but they don't get the exposure, right? So I think to become a professional footballer, I think it takes not only the skill you have, but I think it takes a little bit of luck. Um, I think it takes a little bit of the being at the right place at the right time. Uh, I also think that it takes, for example, to be a professional footballer, you have to kind of fit in with the philosophy of the club, right? So, for example, if you want to play for, uh, I don't know, let's say Arsenal Football Club, right? But you are uh, I don't know, you are I don't know, LA Galaxy supporter, for example, but you want to play for Arsenal FC, maybe you don't fit in with the values of the club of Arsenal FC and they might reject you. I mean, there's lots of different reasons why you become or don't become a professional footballer.
Yeah. That I. Yeah. That's tough. Politics, everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
That's
it,
politics right
it
there, pretty much. Actually.
it takes more than just your skill, to be honest. That's what I'm trying to say. It takes more than your
Yeah.
skill to be like a professional.
You're right.
Yeah, because there was this remember Aaron? I don't want to say his last name, but he was because we're live, but when he was he played football, he played soccer and football at the same time. And he and he went to go because he used to kick the ball. He used to play goalkeeper, right? And what happened was he used to kick the ball like really, really far. And so what he wanted to do, he wanted to play in the NFL because as a punter, right? and he went to go play for Detroit Lions or something like that. I forgot. I'm not really sure, but he went to either or Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure, but he got turned down by both, not because he couldn't kick the ball the way that they wanted, but because he didn't fit in with the family and the moral and the values of the club of Minnesota Vikings, whatever those were. You know,
I think I remember that.
yeah. So can you imagine? So let's put it in a different perspective. You're in a meeting, right? You're a player. You're in a meeting with the coach, uh, the chairman, the general manager. You know, you know what I mean. You're like in a different level, right? And you're in this meeting, and then you're like, it's going good. It's going good. We're gonna offer you the contract, but we are a family oriented organization, and you're too wild, for example. And then you don't become a professional, you know.
You there?
Yeah. Just keep talking,
Oh,
man.
you're drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
So
yeah.
and for
Do
me
you
that's
think
fine,
you would
man.
have been happy if you would have played pro?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would have been happy to be pro, you know.
You would have.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I could I don't know if I could be a pro for like as long as some of the pros now, but at least you know what I would be happy with? I would be happy with that at least I made it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
whatever I did, I was able to accomplish this.
that would have been a big accomplishment too.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I wasn't really concerned about winning World Cups, Champions leagues, things like that. I just wanted to be I wanted to know that this was where I wanted to be, and I did it, you know.
It's pretty much kind of like what I wanted to do. I didn't really care about winning a bunch of stuff.
But on the other hand, maybe that was the wrong attitude, like saying you don't want to win a bunch of stuff. Because have you watched any of these professional press conferences?
No, they're all about winning though.
Yeah, they always say like, "I want to win trophies, I want to win cups," you know. So see, that's where the language is very important because maybe that was the wrong language. You know, the owners don't want to hear this different language. You know what I mean? It's more than just playing. It's how to get involved with your words, kind of. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So just keep talking. I have to. I'll be right back. Yeah. Just talk about football for a little bit. Yeah. Just keep talking. Yeah. I'll be
Yeah.
right back.
All right.
Just talk about professional football. Yeah.
Sure.
Just keep talking, man.
See who the best player. Oh, that's what they were saying about the balloon Dior or whatever that Messi wasn't supposed to win it, and the guy Van Virgil, I think it is. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he was supposed to win it, but I don't know. I don't really. I didn't watch too much of him, and I haven't watched too much of this season, so I can't comment on that. But if a lot of people are saying that, that sounds kind of correct. So I don't know, man. But who else? Oh yeah, and then Ronaldo might leave to go to. Where's he going to go? Manu? Yeah, he might go back to Manu, I think.
Who's going back to Man U?
Maybe Ronaldo. But did you hear what I was saying before that?
No, just keep talking. Doesn't
Fucking
matter.
Messi wasn't supposed to win the Ballon d'Or. It was Virgil, Van Virgil or something.
Yo, Virgil van Dijk.
Yes, I'm sorry. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a
that's.
he- he's a fucking good player, man.
I know that. I think I've seen. Isn't he older?
I don't know
I
if
think
he's older, but he plays for Liverpool.
what's his country he plays for?
Virgil van Dijk. Netherlands, I think he plays
Yeah,
for Netherlands.
yeah. So then I know who he is.
Yeah, he's a black guy.
That fool's a baller.
Yeah, man, he's fucking awesome, man. Dude, he plays in like the central defense for Liverpool. Dude, that fucking guy, he can ping the ball right to your foot, man, wherever you want it.
Yeah, that fool's a baller.
Yeah, dude. And I think it was what was it? The at the Ballon d'Or, it was Messi won it, then Virgil van Dijk, then Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it was third.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but those fucking guys are those. I mean, whether Cristiano Ronaldo or Virgil van Dijk didn't win the Golden Ball, they're ballers, man.
And that's what I was gonna say. It doesn't matter, dude. Those guys are the top of the top.
Yeah, man. But really, Cristiano Ronaldo might go from Juventus back to Manchester United.
If they don't win this season,
Dude, that would be crazy.
if he balls out,
Yeah, man. I saw. Did you ever watch Cristiano Ronaldo when he played for Manchester United?
yeah, that's when I thought he was the best.
Yeah, he was the best back then and now. I mean, he's
No, I'm saying like the way he moved, dude. He fucking. I know you can't move like that when you're young, but it changed when he went to Real Madrid because like I've watched him forever, and I've
yeah,
been a big fan of him, and
I know.
I used to watch him. So like when he was younger at Manchester, dude, that fool would juke you and make you fall over. He didn't do that so much when he went to Real. It was more of a straightforward goal scorer. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, his play changed for sure.
Yeah, he was more of like the street baller kind of like magician fucking player when he played at Manu because like he would beat people all crazy and then that kind of slowed down the more he went. Now he's just like he doesn't really do the jukes as much. It's more like yeah he does, but it's more of 1-2 to beat you and then not the like crazy shit. I don't know. You'd have to see his old video. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I think also like the play changes too. Like for example, the rhythm of the match changes.
What do you mean?
Well, like for example, when if you watch like if you're watching English Premier League, right? It's more like you have like two quick 1-2, 1-2, and then a long pass over the top.
Yeah, but
Or
he wasn't doing that. That's what I'm saying. If you watch his videos from the past, he's beating 3 or 4 guys no problem.
yeah, I know. Well, one because he was younger and he wasn't like how to say he was trying to make a name for himself to kind of get into the first team all the time. And then second, when he went to Real Madrid, then like the style of Spanish football is different. It's more like rhythm, trying to get past the lines, like pass, rhythm, past get past to the final third, and then
No,
you
no, I
start.
know, I know, I get all that. I
Yeah,
know that. I'm just saying he has changed as he's gotten. I guess he realized he didn't have to do all that. Is what I'm getting at, maybe.
right, because he had other players that can do that for him, and then
Or he could
they,
just not. The ball moves faster, so he could just ping it, give it to them, and then just get his run on or beat
yeah,
one.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Just it's kind of smarter play. You don't have to do all that. You get injured. You get injured more that way because somebody's gonna. You may be faster and always beat that person, but somebody's always going to be one step behind. And that one time they clip you and get you is the time that you get fucked up.
Well, yeah, exactly, because
You
you're
already
you're going.
know, man. You already know how it goes.
Yeah, because you're going at full speed and you might be able to beat that person, of course. But the reason why they clip you is
Not
they
fast
don't
enough.
because they're not fast enough and they don't want you to get past them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they clip you.
Soccer's a crazy sport, dude. I still want to play. I actually might start playing next week. I just don't want to get too involved. Oh, I have an interview too for this team in Chino. They're actually a big club. But I don't really know what to do because I don't have coaching experience, so I'm gonna tell them the truth. I'm just kind of looking somewhere to start out or whatever, see what happens.
Wait, you want to go for coaching?
I don't necessarily want to coach and be all indulged in it. I just want to start coaching somewhere and maybe have like one team.
Hmm.
I'm not trying to like coach a bunch of club teams and be gone every weekend and have my life revolve around that. Like I still want to have a life. I just want to start coaching and giving back a little bit and helping. That's it. That's all.
What age group are you looking for?
I don't know. It's club, so I don't know if you after we get off or whatever, you can look it up.
Hmm?
It's called IE SoCal Elite. They're in Chino Hills.
I think I've heard some team like that before.
Are you sure? They're new.
They're new, but I think I've heard something about them maybe.
But I took one of the coaching classes. When I took the coaching class, one of the coaches was in there, and it was like I don't want to be mean. He was like a heavier set guy, kind of like a guy that like thinks he knows it all. Younger cat, maybe he played. I don't think he played
Well,
anywhere like or whatever. You just know, after you're sitting there and listening to people like this fool doesn't really know much, or like this guy didn't really play anywhere. You can just kind of tell. So it's like I don't really care, but he's talking the whole class, like the whole fucking time, dude. Like always answering, and it's like, dude, like. So I thought about it after, and I was like, you know what? I bet you I could go like work at that club. So then I looked him up. Not like hating. I'm just saying, like, I bet you I could go work if that guy's there. I know way more than he does. Like, I could definitely be a benefit. So I looked it up and emailed like the director, and then the guy, or no, I left a message and just told him my background and everything, and then he called me back, and then I emailed him my resume, he emailed me back, and then I set up something for Monday.
nice, nice, very nice.
I
Yeah.
mean, look, we have the background? We know enough, don't we?
Well, yeah, we know enough, but well, yeah,
Coaching, I'm not
I
saying
have I have coaching experience. You know, I've been in the trenches coaching, and from my perspective, not saying I'm the best coach. Of course not. I'm not a coach at any of the big clubs or anything like that. But what I would say is that if you're see the first year I started coaching, was still thinking like a player. And what that means is I always thought like, why aren't the players not able to do the things that I want them to do? So I was very frustrated the first year of coaching, my coaching experience. Then the second year and the third year of coaching, I was like, okay, they're players. I'm a coach. They're looking for me for answers to their problems. Whatever the fuck that problem is, I can't tell you. But they're looking for you. And then you have to realize that they are not able to do the things you want the way you thought you were able to do them as a player, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you. I mean, if Lionel Messi stopped playing now, do you think he would be a good coach?
You know what? I think it just depends on if you want to coach, really.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
I think so. I mean,
Yeah,
what makes
I don't think it depends. I think it's where you're at. I never wanted to coach. I don't want to coach to the aspect yet of where I'm like taking because I'm too much of like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna learn about it. I'm gonna do it right, because I care. So it's like I have my weed thing going on. That's my main concern right now. And eventually, I think me and Randy are going to open our own gym. So that would be the second. But coaching, I think I would be good at it because I care about kids. I just need to learn how to, I guess, just learn how to work with kids and do stuff like that. Not that the kids like me. I don't mean that. But I'm just saying, like, I've never have. And just get in the routine. Once I get in the routine and figure it out, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
I
Like,
would like to maybe have a team eventually or something. So I want the experience. I don't want to coach kids. I want to coach like semi-pro or have like a semi-pro team or something eventually. That's what I would want to do.
yeah, see, that's where we differ. See, when I was playing, I was always kind of thinking about, yeah, I would like to coach. I've always liked that. I've always liked the coaching aspect of that. And I've always said, like, I like playing, I love playing, but I've always liked, I was always in my heart, I would be like, wow, it would be kind of nice to coach a team. I've always liked that. It was always in me to coach, like when we
Your
were,
honest opinion, dude. Do you think I would be a good coach?
well, I
If
don't know. It depends on your philosophy. If you're thinking about, it depends, right? Because it thinks,
I'll tell you before you tell me. That way you can tell me. How about that?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I always in my heart, always what I wanted to do from traveling, seeing all the different countries play, all the different styles, all the different coaches, just learning, listening, whether I agreed with it or not, or was an asshole or whatever. I always kind of wanted to do it the Barca way, not like how,
yeah,
I don't want to say the Barca way. I always want to knock the ball. Like you
Right.
don't always need to go forward. You can always come back. And I wanted to distill that no matter what age from the beginning. So they started to kind of do that with the play practice play method, which they just have done these last 2 years in the U.S. soccer. But I would do it a little further than that, where you're always touching the ball every practice. It's not drills. It's like you're always moving and playing, kind of.
Right.
Is that the right? So what do you think of that?
Well, like my philosophy was because this is a great conversation because now we're talking about different philosophies. My philosophy was always uh get the ball wide and get the ball up the field as fast as possible, but still under control. So like you ping it 1-2, 1-2, maybe knock it long and get it forward as quick as possible. That way it relieves your back line and you're able to put danger into the opposition. So that's always been my philosophy.
I'll
And
tell you, oh no, sorry.
no, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'll tell you why I think like moving the ball. I'm not saying it's better or whatever. I like that style is because there's always a flow, right? You don't get into the flow that you never get into the game unless you get into the flow of the game, correct?
Right.
So there's always a flow to the game. So when people really and most players don't unless they're professionals, and even then at times because you just get into the game, you don't get into the flow of the game.
Yeah.
If you have to stay with the flow of the game, and Barca does that well. And I don't even like Barca. I just like the way that they play because one thing I learned from Spanish soccer is you can move the ball that much, and the ball moves faster than the person. So what's happening when you're even if it's a little bit boring or you're getting a feel for it and you're moving the ball around all the time, you're making the other team tired. So it's like
Of
you
course.
can't train for that. So it's like you can train to move the ball around that much, but you can't train to run that much if they're moving the ball that fast and that well and make the right decisions and are moving in the correct places to open up in order to create those passes. Like then it's just a win-win situation for you. You know what I'm saying, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So
understand
you're just
exactly what you're
wearing
saying.
down the team, and you don't walk the ball into the net. You still take your chances, but I'm saying you want to be able to move the ball at least from the backfield all the way pass the half line at a good, and not lose it and be moving the ball around and then
Well, that's
fucking
what
get.
Barcelona does very well. I mean, they knock the ball very well. And what happens with when because I don't like Barcelona either. I don't really.
I don't either, dude.
But what they do well is when they have the ball, right? Okay, they're knocking it, but if you notice, the other players are in a position that even if they lose the ball, right? So they make a bad pass or they miscontrol the pass or whatever. For whatever reason, they lose the ball. The ball either they're positioned so well that when the other team wins the ball, it automatically goes back to them, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what's kind of yeah, and I understand what you're saying that you're kind of like wearing down the opponent, the other opponent. Because for me, football is when you have the ball, it's easier to have the ball than it is than if you don't have the ball. If you don't have the ball, you're kind of defending, you're marking space, you're marking players.
Someone can only make so many sprints. You can't make 100 fucking sprints a game and be at top level like you were the first 20. You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
Of course.
why? Like, that's why those guys fail because they always, like, yeah, it works when you get pros, but it's like, you can't you can't score just mainly off that, and especially if you get more guys on the one person. Yeah, it leaves the other person open. But what if they depend on just that one person? Yeah, that person might be amazing, but it just takes a lot of pressure off one person. If you put it on the whole team, then the pressure's even, and you're just moving the ball. That it's just a team sport, anyways. That's why I never get about these one players and the one thing, anyways. You want to fucking score that goal without getting the ball from the guy before. So what the fuck are you getting all crazy for and acting like you're the best player ever? You know what I mean?
Well, that's like kind of that Zlatan Ibrahimovic problem because the Galaxy,
I don't
that
really like
like
that. Well, I think he's amazing, but I mean, and like he's fucking an asshole.
well, yeah, well, regardless, right? But the problem is that the team was relying on so much of him that he wasn't. I mean, look, if
Are
Zlatan
you talking
Ibrahimovic,
Galaxy?
Yeah, so for example, if Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored like 4 goals for the Galaxy and the Galaxy lost 7-4, there's it's nothing more that he can fucking do.
Not
You know what
really.
I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, what is
So
he supposed to do? Fly?
yeah, exactly. So you can't put all this kind of like, I would say it's kind of unfair pressure to this one person to kind of hold the team. That doesn't make sense, you know?
I agree.
Yeah, I think, but going back to philosophy, I like, see, for me, I like scrappy football. I like it. I like that it's like physical. I like where you're kind of battling in the midfield and you have possession, you might lose it, but then you get possession back. And I like the battle in the midfield. I don't like beautiful football. I really don't. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I think that football, I'm not really into how like the purists want to make football beautiful. I'm more into getting results, you know. So if you're scrappy and you're playing and you have possession in the midfield, and then you open up space, maybe 1-2, 1-2, and then you open up a runner, you get it wide, and then you cross it into the box, and you make something happen. I like that type of football, man. I think that's great. It's I think that I don't know if it always works, but I like that type of football.
See that, and that's the thing. Just everybody's different, and everybody runs like a program different or whatever.
Yeah, and plus you have to have like people, you have to get like people on board, right? You have to have people like that can play the type of football you want to play as well.
That's true. I guess that's why. Yeah, that's why it's always like it depends what the coach is looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why a lot of people didn't like the way that I played because they thought I was lazy. But I guess some people I said I made it look too easy, But it's like, what the fuck does that mean, dude?
Well, that's always good. I mean, look at like for example, do you remember a player called Dimitar Berbatov? Do you remember him?
No.
No. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. He was a striker and he played for Manchester United and I think Tottenham Hotspurs in England, right?
Uh huh.
And and for people, he was fluid, right? He got the ball, he made the games, when he got the ball, the game slowed down. I mean, he wasn't slow, he was quick, but he made the game look so slow and he would score goals, right? Now, people didn't like him because people thought he was lazy, right? And I think people don't really appreciate somebody like a Mesut Ozil because he makes the game look fluid and slow and flowing, and he's not gonna get into hard tackles or he's not gonna track back to defend. He wants to, when he gets the ball, he wants to look forward and get the ball forward, but he wants it to flow.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so for them, they look lazy, but they're not lazy. But I don't know.
Who do you think's the laziest player?
Professionally,
Yeah.
huh, I don't know. I mean, it depends on it depends what you mean lazy. Like, do
Wait, so
they?
wait. Did you think I looked lazy when I played then?
To be honest, I wasn't really paying it. To be honest, I wasn't paying attention to you.
No, I know. I couldn't tell you 100%. I always knew you're a good player. I know that. I'm just saying, do you think you don't
I
remember
knew
ever?
I knew you were a good player, but I wasn't like focusing on what you were doing. I mean,
Oh, that's a good
I,
thing.
yeah, I was just focusing on what I was hoping, or what I was focusing on is like we were playing together, and that's all that mattered. And whatever you did, whatever I did, I didn't
Oh,
really
yeah. That's why I
judge or
always like,
care.
hey, look, I'll tell you one thing, Steve, and I'll tell you this 100%. I always like playing with you at the bottom of my heart because there was never like a competition with you. We
Yeah,
always
exactly.
always played together. It was never like, yeah, we got mad at each other sometimes, maybe because that's just a game.
Of
I
course.
think very rarely, but I'm saying like, no, dude, like I don't think, yeah, I don't think I've ever played with anybody else that I could just play with.
Yeah,
Like,
we played together. I mean, of course, we're gonna disagree because that's the heat of the game,
We didn't
right?
do that very often, though. We didn't.
No, it was just maybe on certain decisions or whatever, but that's natural.
Exactly. That's just the game, and we're two
Yeah.
different people. But that's crazy, though. That now that I think of it, like, yeah, we just did play, and we never like Hugo and Shannon was always like, "Oh, I did this game and that." So like, I don't care. Like, well, I thought we were just playing and trying to win, and have a good squad and a good team, play good soccer. Like that's what I thought we were doing. Have a good game, rough game, fucking. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like
You guys are different.
I mean, think about it. Remember when we played that indoor and we had those guys like what was that? Dixon, that guy.
I hated that guy.
Well, me too. But I whatever, right? I mean, like, but he was okay. I mean, he wasn't the greatest, but I mean, he was. I mean, he was.
He was athletic, but he like would always make one or two good moves, and then they would have made him. He would have looked so good, dude, if he would have just beat the guy and gave the ball out. Instead,
Yeah,
he'd
I
always
mean,
keep going and he fucking lose it, dude.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, but he was okay, right? I mean, we had remember that indoor team we had? It was like, I mean, that
Didn't we
team,
win?
we were pretty good. I mean, we had good players. We
Wait,
just
didn't
did.
we win that year?
Yeah, we won that season. You
Is
know?
that's the one that you're talking about?
Yeah, that team. Yeah,
No, we had a really good team. We beat everybody, I think, or
I know. I mean, we
we
had
had
players. I know
dude.
we had some pretty good players, and we were playing pretty okay. I mean, we weren't. I mean, you know what I mean. We weren't like not everybody's a baller, right? But we were pretty solid, at least. I mean,
Or we had
I,
P and well, okay. So who do you think was the main squad? It was like you, Ladule, Hugo, me,
yeah,
and then like maybe like two other people. Maybe
I forgot who our goalkeeper was, to be honest.
me too. I don't remember. Damn, dude, I forgot about. Well, I was thinking about that the other day, actually, about that game. That's funny that you bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, I know we were not like superstars, but we were pretty good. I
What
mean,
do you mean? We were good, dude.
yeah, we were good. I know we were good.
Oh, that it's hard to find, or those times, like it's hard to find. It's hard to find like a squad or have a squad like that. You know what I mean? And then especially to keep it together. I know that's impossible, or more. Yeah, it's impossible. But
Well, you
like
know what
at
I
that,
think broke us down was our egos.
why? What happened? I don't remember.
I don't know
No,
what happened, but I
Ladue
think
left. Ladue
yeah.
left, and then other people didn't want to pay, or it was too expensive. I
Well,
think
that's true. I mean, it was like ridiculously expensive to try to play there. I mean,
that is a problem with America. It's pay to play. It's like it shouldn't be like that.
I mean,
Or
if
if
you
you
think
pay to play, it should be fucking pretty cheap, or it should be like reasonable or whatever. Not, but that's just how. Yeah, I guess it's just a country, and that's how it works. Like we're not all based off of soccer, so they don't try to make it like that.
but can you imagine, right? If we were like still together, not now, but back then we were together. I mean, we should, to be honest, I think this is what is the problem. We were paying to play, but we never got anything like the problem is you never get anything back for it, right? So we were playing, we are busting our ass, we're paying 60, 80, $100 a season, but we never got anything from it. You know what I mean? We didn't get exposure from the organization of the arena. Uh, we never got any commercial like sponsorships from them. We weren't even able to,
You're right.
we didn't get anything back from them. It was just paying them money, 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 and we didn't get anything back from it. Like, okay, so we win the championship, but what? It
We get a
wasn't like,
t-shirt and fucking that's it. We're like
y-
maybe a discount on the next rate. I think.
yeah, exactly, like a discount for the next season or fucking some kind of sponsorship deal, for our shirts, and maybe we make
Hey,
some
can you give me one
money.
second? I gotta use the banyo
Yeah, I'll keep talking. Yeah.
real
So
quick. I'll be right back.
yeah, no problem. So, I think that was kind of like the fucking problem, like when we were playing, we weren't able to get any fucking like deals from them. We weren't able to get any kind of sponsorship deals. We weren't able to progress like as a team. And I think that was kind of like one of the problems of playing for a pay to play system is that you don't get anything back. What ended up happening is like you pay per season, and every time you pay per season, one, it either got more expensive or you had to pay the same amount of money and you weren't able to get any kind of exposure. It wasn't like we were playing on TV. It wasn't like we were getting any kind of discount for the season before. I mean, it was kind of like fucked up that we were playing all this time and not getting anything back from it. And I think that's kind of like one of the problems of like being in a like a society where on one hand it was kind of good that we were able to pay and play and we were able to create a team and not be like contractually uh like frozen or stagnant to a team, and we were able to create a team and able to like play and you know keep our fitness levels up and get our skill up and keep playing. But on the other hand, it was like you know we weren't getting any like anything from it. It was like really bad. We weren't progressing, and that was kind of one of the biggest problems, that we weren't able to progress from kind of like a you know uh playing as far as you know get, professionally, getting anywhere professionally. And I think that was like one of the biggest problems. It wasn't like a good avenue to get anywhere, and I think that was why we were not able to like stay together, one, financially, and two, it wasn't like a very good deal for us to keep playing, and it wasn't like it wasn't a viable option for us to keep playing, you know. And I think that was
I'm back.
one I think that was one of the reasons why we stopped playing together as a group, you know. And you know, like when we were playing, man, it wasn't like uh we won that season and we were like winning and things like that, but we never played on TV, you know.
Well, if you would have stuck around, you might have played on the Fury with us.
Yeah, that playing on the
And,
Fury would have been all.
and not even that, I might have stuck around and played there longer if you would have stayed or if you would have played.
Yeah, well, playing on the Fury, that Ontario Fury, that team that opened up, that professional indoor soccer team, that looked awesome, man.
Oh, you would have liked that?
Yeah, man, playing on TV, that would have been awesome, man.
Yeah, you probably would have liked that. Well, you liked the indoor.
I liked indoor. It was fun, man. Because that's again, it's like that scrappy football, man.
Yeah, then you would have liked that and you would have played.
Yeah. So keep talking, man. I'll be right back. I have to go pee as well. So just keep talking, man.
All right, man.
Yeah.
The indoor was definitely a different experience, I guess. It's not like the indoor that we played at the Upland Arena. It was there were actually plays, there was bouncing off the walls. It was a lot of not a lot of dribbling. Maybe when you got into like the into the box, close to the box, but other than that, it was a lot of movement, passing, screening, try to get it to your main player, a lot of screening, but usually you would try to get it to your main forward and get it to the front. But it was a good time though. Back, Steve.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
was just
back.
talking about the experience of how it was different than the indoor that we played.
Well, like now.
No, I'm just in general, like when when I first started playing it, like there's like plays, there's a lot of screening, it's a lot of movement. You actually have positions for it. Not that like we didn't either, but then like you hit it off the wall. You do a lot of runoff plays to like where you pass it to the guy. Like we never did plays, you know what I mean? We just tried to play soccer in a small area. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
This was actually like set up as almost like hockey or like yeah, it was whatever. I didn't like it as much because I like the freedom to run, dude. That's how I do best. I need to move. I don't like being contained in a small, super small area. It makes you a lot better, but
Was it similar to like playing basketball? Like as far as like like strategies and plays and
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
yeah, and like using the clock to your advantage and
Yep. Exactly like that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's
You
a different type of football. That's being coached how to man it's what I call game management, you know. We never had that. We just played.
I guess that would help you though. Play after.
Yeah, sure. Because like the coach is telling you, okay, use this part of the pitch to your advantage, use the wall to your advantage. You have the clock, you know.
I never even thought of it like that. That's so true.
Yeah, they would teach you how to that's what the coach is there for, to manage the game, you know.
Dude, that's yeah. I never really thought of that.
Well,
Wow.
see, that's my kind of coaching perspective.
No, that's good though.
uh, I think so. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, so it's you're asking me going back to the original question about who would be a good manager or coach. I mean, you would have to look at the game from the perspective of an outsider rather than you're in that mess and try to figure out how to score a goal, basically, or win the match.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, you would have to look at it how to manage the game well, and finding out how to get the players to manage the game. Because if you're going to teach or if you're going to coach a semi-pro college team or whatever, you're not going to teach them how to control the ball. They should already know how to do that, right?
Right.
But what they might not be able to do and see from a player's perspective is how to manage the game. Like, for example, you're not going to give up a corner kick in the 90th minute, right? Or you're going to try to avoid that. Or you're not going to foul somebody who's going full speed or not full speed with their back turned towards your goal on top of the 18-yard box, right? Because they don't pose a threat. Or you're not going to like hack somebody like close or in the box, you know, at the 46th minute at halftime before halftime and give up a goal possibly. You have to you're gonna manage the game a little bit differently, and you're gonna relay that information to your team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
Stra-
when you're
Strategize more.
yeah, and when you're a player, you don't really think about it. You're just playing, right? You're just playing, because I'll ask you this question. When you were playing, did you ever know where the referee was in the match
Um,
when you were playing?
no, I
Did you
just knew that I had good peripheral vision, so I always just at least knew he wasn't in my vicinity.
right? So you knew he was there, but you weren't really paying attention to him, right?
Right.
Right. So because you're a coach, you'll be able to notice where the referee is at all times. So that's where those arguments come up. Oh, he was offside. No, he wasn't. Was it a foul? No, he wasn't. Because you see the game from a different perspective.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on your philosophy of football.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Uh, and everybody has a different philosophy.
Well, yeah, everybody has a different philosophy too. For sure, the way they played soccer, the way they were taught, and what they think.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I don't know. Do you think Jose Mourinho is a good coach? Do you think he's a
I don't know. I don't really. I've never really watched his coaching. I just know. I guess he's good at what he does, but I don't
no?
know.
The reason why I ask is because he wasn't really a good footballer.
I knew that,
Yeah,
but yeah, like you said, it's just a different perspective. They can have a different perspective of the game. They could, you know what I mean? They could have grew up watching the game every day their whole life, been studying and shit, and know how the game works. Maybe not be able to play or put it into action, but they can put it on paper. So I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, and plus, I mean, they read a lot about like self confidence and sports psychology, and
That's what I mean. They do the different aspect besides of a player that just comes up playing. And I didn't think about a lot of that shit until I started going to like some of those academies or playing with some of the better teams are playing overseas. Like you don't really think about that, or you wouldn't even have thought about that. Not even playing growing here. They don't
Yeah,
have any
sure. You don't even think about it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know if
So
they have one in MLS.
no, I don't. I don't know if they have that in MLS.
But I'm saying I know they do in Europe. I know it's more extensive and more playing in Europe. Maybe they do for the USA, but no, that's actually interesting. That's an interesting topic. But
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
now that I think of it, yeah, look at dude, look at all this shit. Like, did you think of that stuff? Probably should have had an agent when we were younger. Probably should have had
No.
an agent when we were younger. And then when you got to it, and then your parents would have to be more on board, or my parents would have been more on board for me staying. You know, they as
Yeah,
I got older, staying longer or whatever. Not that they weren't before. It's just I don't know, dude.
dude. Keep talking about agents for a second. I have to just keep talking. Yeah.
I gotta go soon though.
Yeah, yeah. I know.
I
I
gotta,
know.
I gotta take down my bed, put up a new one. Agents though, agents are a good thing, but you have to be very, very careful. Because I remember when I got in that, um, when I left Czech Republic, when I was there with Steve, I ended up leaving and going to Spain because I had been there previous. I was trying to get on a team, and then the lady that we were living with, she got us this tryout at actually ended up being at Atletico Madrid Stadium or their practice training ground, excuse me. And then we go there. We ended up playing. We ended up getting scouted by this academy, but the academy would have placed you anywhere in the world. In the academy would have had you for 3 years, or that agency. They were like an agency academy, and you didn't have to pay anything. You just had to get in. Well, we got scouted by playing against Atletico Madrid's second division team. But back to the point of about the scouts, the agents, like I said, you have to be careful because they can kind of do whatever. But also, when I was in that academy, there was a guy that was scouted as well to go to that academy from Brazil. So he was in Spain and was in
Right.
Madrid, and they left him there or whatever. They just straight up left him, and he didn't have anything. Or no, I'm sorry, not that academy. It was the one before that. But he was brought over by an agent. The agent left him there with no money, so he was pretty much stranded. And then he got into that academy, and I think he got out by going to a team. But
Well,
it was
see
pretty
that's
crazy.
a. How do you even get involved with it, like getting an agent?
You
I
just have
never
to have somebody
understood that.
represent you. You have to send videos, and you just have to have some kind of proof that you can play, and then have somebody represent you. And if they want to represent you, they will. And then they try to get you a contract with. They just represent you for a team. But that's why I said you have to be very careful because fuck, anything could happen. You know what I mean? And especially
Yeah,
like
no.
in Germany, a lot of guys are trying to get agents or had agents, and they didn't really get much. But it's all depends on the player, man. You make moves, so like the best is to be coming up through an academy, and if you're good enough, you'll just make it. You know, you'll get your chance on the first team, or you get scouted by a different team. Agents,
Yeah.
agents are for people that are good enough, but maybe not good enough, or they're trying to make it. You know what I mean?
So an agent will give you that exposure.
Pretty much, or maybe just an extra networking hookup that you don't have. I
You're
guess.
right, right. Yeah, because that's an interesting point because it's like they always ask like rock stars, why did they get hooked up with certain like labels, like for example, why did they start sign with Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
And they go, well, like, well, we were big enough or we were good enough as a band, right? But we what's the difference is that we weren't able to network or have the type of connections that a kind of a big
The manager.
corporate, like a big corporate uh music industry company has, like Warner Brothers. They weren't able to network as, but the Warner Brothers has all those connections. And then once because they asked them, why did you sign with them? Like, they always say if you sign with a big record label that you're a sellout, right? Well, no, they didn't sell out. They got the best kind of networking that they could possibly have. They became a professional band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no fault in that.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's like, and then people say like, oh, they became like a sellout and, they signed for this big record label and they didn't come with their roots. And it's like, but if you look at it in a perspective, if they stayed at that level, they wouldn't have gotten the exposure and they wouldn't be able to like bring their music or their style of music to like millions of people.
That's true, right?
Yeah. I think people kind of miss that step, you know?
I think so too. I agree.
Like they don't know what it's I don't think they understand what those band members are going through because they want to make money too, right? I mean, you wouldn't just be a band and not make money. Why would you keep doing that, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
don't know.
man. Uh,
I
yeah,
should probably
so
wrap it up.
yeah. So you got to get going, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna take down my bed and put up this new one, and I need to transplant these plants.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I think that this podcast is I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah,
I think
we
we've
can
been
have them the next day or two or whatever, whenever you're free.
yeah. So are you want to have another show? Are you free tomorrow?
What is tomorrow? Saturday.
Sunday.
So Saturday for me, yeah.
Yeah. So
No,
same
tomorrow is
time.
Sunday. I'm sorry. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
Sunday. Yeah, tomorrow's fine.
no problem, man. So yeah. Okay. So let's. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's do it, and then we'll do it tomorrow.
Okay. So do you have anything else that you want to close the podcast with?
No, that was a good first podcast.
Yeah, I think it was a good podcast, and I think it went. I don't think we had any audio issues.
No,
Yeah, so uh, I think that we will. I will see you, and we will see you on the next edition of the First Division podcast. Thank you for being involved with the first one, Drew, and I am very looking forward to talking to you on the next podcast, man.
yes, sir. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. So I think we will wrap up the podcast now. So thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next podcast.
All right, see you tomorrow, man.
See you tomorrow, man.
All right, bye.